What is today? June 11th.
June 12th.
June 12th. Okay, today is June 12th, 2006. I'm sitting here with... Go ahead.
Lydia. Quickwater.
Okay. Let's see. When and where were you born?
I was born in Staples, Minnesota, on a farm, I think. I'm not sure.
I think.
Yeah. And September 7th, 1926.
Really? Okay. Okay. What was the name you were given with at birth? Like, what's your maiden name?
My name was Lydia Adeline with an A. Adaline.
Adeline. Okay.
Adeline.
You don't see that very much.
No.
Yeah.
Pribenow.
Pribenow. Okay.
Pribenow.
Cool. Okay. How many brothers and sisters did you have?
I had 4 sisters and 5 brothers.
Ah.
And yet we have 3 sisters and 2 brothers.
Is that right? Now, where were you in that lineup?
I was number 7.
Okay.
I was number 7.
And so that's 12 total? How many?
With Mom and Pa, yeah.
Okay.
It's 12 people.
Wow. What kind of house did you have for that many people?
Well, we had, when we had the 10 kids, that was in Motley, where we had moved. And it was, I'd say maybe 3 rooms, about 3 rooms.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a little pantry. We had 4 beds in the bedroom. We slept 4 people to a bed, then in 1 bed.
No way! 4 people to a bed? Really? Okay.
And 2 in one other and 1 in a single bed.
Wow.
And then the baby usually slept with my mom and dad in the living room.
Oh,
it was what they called kind of a chifforobe.
Say that again?
Chifforobe.
Chifforobe. Okay.
SHIFF robe.
Robe. Okay.
Anyway, it folded out into a bed.
Ah, okay.
And it was quite a neat bed.
Wow.
You know,
I've never heard of that, chifforobe.
No.
Huh.
When you folded it up, it was probably 2 feet.
Kind of like
wide.
a couch, like the hide-a-bed things these days? Okay.
Only that it was high.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
And you could kind of
Dark
just
wood.
tuck it in the corner,
Yeah,
so to
it's
speak.
set at one side.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Now, is that the house where...
I live yet.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
So how old is that house? Did
I
your
have
like
no
grandparents build it or something?
No. When we lived in Staples, we had a fire, and this is my earliest memory.
Okay.
The stove had caught fire with a chimney because it went all the way through. Well, there was a cinder or something dropped on my father's forehead, and it woke him up.
Oh
And
my
the
gosh.
house was on fire.
Wow.
So he was getting all the kids together and getting them out. And my oldest brother, I can remember him pushing me out the window.
Is that right? Oh, how scary.
Yeah.
How old were you at that time?
Probably 3 or 4.
3? Wow. And so from there...
then we, my father's brother's wife's mother.
Father's brother's wife's mother. Okay. Got it.
Anyway, she owned this house in Motley. And she was by herself, and she was getting old, so they wanted her to come back to Staples and live. So they said we could have the house. I imagine Pa paid something for it, but I don't know what.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's been in our family ever since.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I knew that house was old, but I didn't
Yeah.
realize it was that old. Now, did the rest of the property come with, like, the little sheds and things?
Mhm.
Was it the whole
yes.
the whole deal
Yeah.
there, huh?
Yeah.
Wow, amazing.
I did buy that extra lot on the...
Oh, did you? Where the other old houses were?
Yes.
Yeah? Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
One thing with the house came the cook stove and that round oak table that I still have.
Really? I love that cook stove. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is so
was
neat.
that was neat stuff.
Dang. But now that back room, was that always the bathroom? That was like a pantry, wasn't that?
That was the pantry.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and we just made that into the bathroom.
Vaguely. I can see.
Modernized
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Awesome. That's neat.
Yeah.
Okay. What were your brothers and sisters' names?
Okay, my oldest brother well, first of all, my oldest sister, she was first. Sophia.
I remember her.
Yeah. And my brother John was John. I'm not sure what his middle name was. But, and then it was Arthur, Carl, William, Will, Mabel, Claire, Willis, Wilbur. He hated that.
He hated Wilbur?
And then it was me, and then it was David Otto, and Dorothy Adeline with an E.
Oh, really? Oh.
And then Florence Marie.
Okay.
That was the 10.
Oh, dang, very nice.
Uh-huh.
Let's see. What were your parents' names?
My mother's name was Wilhelmina.
Wilhelmina. I just knew her as great grandma.
Yeah. And her maiden name was Bristlin. Bristlen.
Okay. Okay.
And my father's name was Otto Christian Privenel.
Okay.
Christian was his mother's maiden name.
Oh.
And that's what that family did. They took the mother's maiden name.
That's a great
Yeah.
thing to do. That way you can follow your history
Right.
a lot easier.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Ah, very nice. Now, do you remember your grandparents?
I
Oh.
did.
Did you know them?
Her parents, my mother's parents, I did not know.
Huh.
They died before we were old enough to go.
Uh-huh.
I did meet my father's. Oh, I'll take that back. I did know my mother's mother.
Okay.
Her name was Mary. I don't know her middle name, but it was Mary.
Huh.
And my father, I did meet him once. He came to my oldest sister's wedding,
Really?
and his name was William
Okay.
Will, I think. William Will. Criminal.
Okay. Nice. Cool. That's great. Let's see. You already said your earliest childhood memory, and you grew up on a farm. What was a typical day like on the farm?
Well, see, we weren't there that long, and
Oh.
because
Well, now was the farm in the Staples
it was
area?
just the Staples area.
Okay.
I think it was just that we were on the edge of town or something. Well,
Gotcha.
it wasn't really a
It
farm.
wasn't a full-fledged
Because this is how I got my nickname. We lived on this, just outside of town. Well, with those other kids, we needed milk. We didn't have, a cow or anything.
farm. Okay.
So we had what my mother called a milkmaid.
Okay.
It was a lady that delivered milk to
I've heard that
everyone.
term. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So when I was born, the milkmaid came to bring milk, and she said, "Well, what did you name her?" Lydia. Oh, but that's going to be so hard for those other little kids to remember, and they can't say it. Why don't you call her Sis?
Sis, no way.
I've been that all my life.
That is so interesting. Wow. Sis. Oh.
Yeah.
I was always curious about that, how that came about. Yeah. Let's see. So what would be I guess when you moved to the house in Motley, you were old enough to start school at that time. Yeah. So you went to school there in Motley?
In Motley.
Okay.
I went for 9 years.
Okay.
And then I quit.
Uh-huh.
I happened to be pregnant at the time.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Now, school would normally go to the 12th grade.
Yes.
Was it right? Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. But our chores, we had to fill the reservoir in the cook stove for hot water, for washing dishes.
Where's the reservoir in the cook stove?
It was all your plates, or where you put the wood in.
Okay, right.
you
I
got
remember that.
2 lids there, and
Right.
then you got 2 extra.
Yeah,
lids.
I remember the 4.
Okay, and then on the end, there was this big thing, and you tipped it up this way, and that's where your hot water was.
Okay, so you had to keep that filled with
We had
water.
water
Okay.
to wash our face and dishes and.
So how would you
whatever.
get it out of there? You just kind of scoop it out?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we had dippers.
Okay.
Dippers.
All right. So where'd you get the water from then?
Oh, we had a hand pump.
Really?
That pump is still in existence that we use right now.
Really?
It's the same, well, it's, of course, we modernized and got running water, but it's the same well.
No, wow.
It's never been pulled, so, and it's just as...
Now, is it on your property there? Is it the same?
Yeah,
Is
in the house.
Where was the pump at?
Well, you remember the old, or the long kitchen?
The sink and the, yeah?
Only that when I was smaller, when we first moved there,
Mm-hmm.
it was over about where Grandma used to sit and have her breakfast.
In the mornings?
In the morning.
Really?
Just maybe behind her.
Is that right?
Yeah.
On the other side of the room then, from where the
Right.
sink and things were? Really?
Yeah.
That is so interesting.
Yeah. So then
Wow.
we modernized, and then we put the water on the other
Okay.
side.
What are some other chores you had to do? I mean, there's a lot of kids.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's got to have a job.
Oh, yeah. Willis would cut the wood. We had to carry wood in.
Okay.
We had a great
Yeah.
big wood box. We had to fill that every night
Uh-huh.
after school.
Because that, I imagine, was heating the house, too.
That was heating the house, and
Yeah.
the wood box was for the kitchen stove.
Okay.
And I think we put the wood in behind the heater in the living room that we had,
Okay.
and that was our heat. So yeah, that was one of the chores after school, was getting that done. During the summer, our chores were weeding the garden.
Where was the garden?
Down over on the other side.
On the other side of the dirt street?
Down, well, it's down the block,
Okay.
about a half a block down. We had one garden there. We had our tomatoes and radishes and the little stuff out in the front yard.
Okay.
We had that into a garden. The corn and the potatoes and the rutabagas, that was over, I'd say, well, over behind where, in the next block, or half a block.
Like
there.
on the other side of the playhouse?
Right.
On the block over there?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Wow, that's a
Right.
big garden area.
We did.
Holy cow.
Well, like you say, we had 10 kids. We had a lot of
Yeah.
gardens too, and my mother canned. She'd can at least 500 quarts of vegetables every fall
Okay. To get
to
you
feed
through
us through the winter.
Yeah. And then would you go berry picking and stuff too?
We
and
went berry picking.
to-
We didn't. I don't think she canned too many of the berries.
No? Huh.
We could never seem to get enough, and then if we did, we'd probably have a dish full for supper.
Eat it,
for,
right. Yeah, right
for our
there.
dessert.
Dang. So would you girls have to help with cook dinner and tend the other
the
children?
older ones, I think, did, but
Uh-huh.
we were the smaller ones. We did the dishes.
That's all. I hate doing the dishes.
And even some of the boys, Davy had to help with the dishes, and Lois would have to do a little bit, but he was older, so he did more of the harder chores.
Okay.
So that,
Now this is kind of a weird question. Where was was there an outhouse then? Or was it?
yeah.
Okay. Where was
Yeah.
that at?
Remember where the plum tree was, or back? No, the plum tree was up here.
Yeah, the plum tree we thought was up front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was towards the back
Oh, okay.
of the lot.
Yeah. Okay.
By the alley.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, and then when we were growing up, we had a couple of geese out there. We had rabbits out there. Not too many chickens. Not too many chickens for some reason. But the geese I remember very well.
Did they chase you? Were they
No,
mean?
No, we had
Okay.
them in a pen.
Oh,
But
okay.
you didn't dare go. You had to go buy those in order to go to the toilet.
Oh no! And they'd squawk
Oh
at
yeah,
you.
oh yeah, they were always sticking their heads at us.
Well, that had to be fun in the middle of
It
winter,
was.
and you have to use the bathroom.
yeah.
Oh no!
It was
Terrible.
cold, but you didn't dilly-dally along, you know.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang, that's amazing. That's
Right.
great. Let's see. Didn't you used to have like a rain barrel out front of the
Oh,
house
yes.
too? Yeah, a
Oh,
rain
yes.
barrel. I
In the
remember a
back.
rain barrel.
Yeah, we had
Yeah.
that.
Oh.
And we'd use that to rinse our hair.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah, it made it nice and soft.
So if that was, how would you take a bath and stuff then? Like.
Oh, we had wash tubs.
Okay.
And we'd bring that into the kitchen,
Okay.
and we'd have it maybe 3 inches of water.
Uh-huh.
And that was another thing that our reservoir was good for. We had warm water.
Uh-huh.
And,
For your bath.
For a bath.
I always remember growing up, you were always very conservative of the water. You'd wash the dishes in like the little porcelain pan thing,
Right.
and just about this much water, and I'd be just so amazed. How could she do that in 2 inches of water? Yeah.
I didn't want to carry it out.
Yeah, because then you
We
had to
didn't have
toss
any
it
sewer
out.
then.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So that's pretty much where you lived the whole growing up. It was in
Most of it.
Motley.
Most of it.
That's amazing. So was the school like all one? Was it grade 12 through K?
It was, we didn't have kindergarten. We had first
Okay.
1 through 12.
1 through 12?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
One big building, and the lower grades were usually on the ground floor, and then your higher grades were upstairs.
Would everybody be kind of mixed together,
We
grades
had
1
two
through
grades.
3? Oh.
We had 2 grades to a room,
Uh-huh.
1 and 2, and then 3 and 4, and then 5 and 6.
Uh-huh.
We had 2 rooms for 5 and 6 because 6th grade had quite a few kids,
Ah.
so we had to double up on them.
Oh, that's
And
interesting.
then the upstairs, 7th grade was always by themselves, and the 8th and through on.
Wonder why so many 6th graders.
I don't know. Well, see, I think they were coming in from the country school.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Okay. If you had to guess, about how much would you say the population was of Motley at that time?
Oh, probably a couple hundred, if that.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, that's good size.
it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Wow. Okay. Let's see. What are some of the things you used to do as a kid? What'd you do for fun? Yeah.
Well, when we were little, you don't do too much. Of course, Cliff and I, well, his family and our family always played together, and the older boys, of course,
Mhm.
they'd come, and then we'd play out there in the street. Run, sheep, run, pump, pump, pull away.
I don't know what either of those are. Is that like a run, like a hide and seek games,
Yeah.
or okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then a couple of kids from uptown, they'd come and we'd play ball.
Okay.
But that's about all we did
Mhm.
at that time.
Mhm.
When I was 12 and 13, yeah, 13 and 14, my girlfriend and I, we cleaned roller skates because we had that pavilion uptown.
Oh.
And every Thursday and Sunday night, we roller skated.
Oh, how
So-
fun.
The next day, the roller skates had to be cleaned, and that's what my girlfriend and I did.
Uh-huh.
We cleaned the roller skates. Well, then we got to roller skate free, and then plus we got a dime.
Oh, got paid a whole
Dime.
dime. Wow. Now, what would you spend your dime on?
Probably a bottle of pop and a candy bar. That
That's good. A bottle of pop. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was your girlfriend's name?
was it. Florence King,
Florence
and she is still alive. Cliff and I went out to California to San Diego, and this is where she lives. Her and her younger sister. So we got together, and she took us out to a casino to have lunch, and we just had a good
That's
time.
great that you
We had
still
a good
keep in
time.
contact
Yeah.
with her, that you knew where she was and
Yeah.
everything. That's
We
awesome.
kind of kept in touch throughout
Yeah?
the years. Yeah.
Was she kind of like your best friend? Or?
She was my best friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
great. Let's see. Who's your best friend? Did you have any pets? Other than I suppose the rabbits were for like food.
Well, they were food.
Yeah.
They were food.
Did you have a dog?
We would have. There was a dog. Her name was Trixie,
Hmm.
and she was some sort of a spaniel because she was
Hmm.
brown and white, curly haired,
Huh.
and she'd go out hunting and swimming with the kids and the
Oh.
boys. We had a cat. Not too many cats, it seemed like. But I did have a Manx cat. It didn't have a tail.
Oh, cute.
So,
What
yeah,
was his
he
name?
He was cute.
Remember his name?
Yeah, I don't
Remember? Yeah.
remember.
Now, where would the boys go swimming at?
What we call the leaning tree down at the river.
Have I been there?
Probably.
I think I have. I was trying to tell Mom one day. I
Yeah.
remember. I thought it was the Mississippi that we
No.
were. that we were swinging off this tree, and it was like
That's
leaning
right.
over it, and there was
That's
a
right.
rope there.
That's where it was.
Yeah, and who was it? Was it Boomer or somebody was?
Boomer and Ray probably, but I think Boomer and probably Bobby Thorne,
Okay,
because they would always go down.
Yeah, I think one of them was brought us there and was showing us the tree, and I'm like, I don't think we were allowed to go in, but I think he may have. I'm not sure. I can't remember.
That could be because you guys were pretty small.
Yeah. Now, what relation is Boomer? Was he any relation to us,
my
or is
nephew.
just? Oh, okay.
He's
He's
my
the
nephew.
nephew. Okay.
My sister Dorothy's boy.
Dorothy's boy.
And
Okay.
he lives at Wyoming, Minnesota. And I keep in touch with their family, being both their mom and dad have died. So, but they're all grown and have their own families and everything.
Okay. Now, who had the farm? There's a Jeanette. Was it Jeanette? No.
Johnny and Jeanette.
Johnny and Jeanette. Yeah.
Johnny and Jeanette.
Okay, so that Johnny was the brother.
Right.
Jeanette. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. They had
And
the
their
big farm.
daughter, Lindy.
Lindy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now she just lives out of Wadena. She's got a very nice place.
Yeah, I remember the big farm. They had.
Right.
I was complaining about the milk one time,
yes.
and we had a pet sheep, and when we got in trouble, we had to go do potatoes.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
we were like walking on the roof or something, and Great Grandma tattled on us. We had to go dig potatoes the next day.
Right.
Well, that kind of answers the one. What schools did you go to? What was the name of that school? Was it just Motley?
Just Motley High School.
Yeah.
Or Motley Elementary.
Because it was
Just
all kind of
Motley
like
Hill.
one school. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the Motley school.
Mhm.
Did you have like a favorite subject or favorite class, or were they split up into math and English?
No, we had up to the 7th grade. We each had, or it was all together. We had our math and history and geography and our health. But that the one teacher would teach all of those classes. too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Did you have a favorite?
I liked geography. History was okay. I didn't like math. I hated math.
Everybody hates math.
I guess so. Yeah. Science or health wasn't too bad, but of course when girls, they were talking about menstruation. This one girl, oh, I'm so sick. I really am.
Oh, to this day, I hate that. My coworker will do that to me, and I'm like, I don't care. Yeah, exactly. Don't need to know. Yeah.
She just put on.
But now, what year was that? Is that kind of outgoing for that year to be talking about,
probably the 6th and 7th grade, maybe.
Yeah.
7th grade.
So was that, I'm not even going to guess, 19...
Oh, gosh.
a while ago. But
Okay.
Was that a fairly common thing to talk about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Yeah. See,
Only that the boys were not in there at that time. It was just the girls.
they would split up, and the boys would get
Yeah.
the boy talk, and the girls would
Mhm.
get the girl talk.
Mhm.
See, I thought that was a modern. Well, I don't
Yeah.
mean modern, but
Yeah.
because for as much gripe as they put up about it, about
Right.
the sex education and things like. So
Yeah.
they had it back then too. So what's
Oh,
the big
yeah.
deal?
Yeah. We probably didn't go into as much detail as they do now.
I've heard bad stories
Yeah.
about what they do
Really
now.
bad.
Did you work? Well, I guess you did, cleaning the roller skates.
Cleaning the roller skates.
Yeah.
And that was up until I was 13, I think, 14. I did go and work for this one lady, but there again, I was out there pulling weeds because of her garden, and she was an older lady. But that's about all. Working time because we had.
You had enough chores
We
at
had
home
enough
to do,
chores
I would
at home,
imagine. Yeah.
And then we had to scrub the floor by hand with a scrub brush. And then we, on Saturdays, that was one of the jobs. And then we scrubbed the chairs.
Scrub the chairs?
Oh, yes.
Really?
They were wood chairs.
Okay.
So we had to scrub those down.
The tables, I would
The
imagine.
table. Not too much the table, because Ma usually did the washing of the table,
okay.
after we ate.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Now, were you a good child? Did you get in trouble a lot?
Well, no.
No?
I didn't really get into trouble, but in the summertime especially, well, one gal, friend of ours, would live down the street. Well, she'd holler, say, "Come on down, we're going to play whatever." Well, I'd go. I wouldn't tell my mother.
Uh-oh.
Yes. So, a couple times she tied me up to the post with
Oh, no!
with rope.
I guess that taught you, though, huh?
Oh,
You didn't do that again.
Yeah, no. But that was because I did not tell her where I was going. She probably wouldn't have said anything. She probably said, "Go ahead."
She would have said,
But
"Fine, yeah."
She just didn't know where I was.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
and it wasn't only me. It was Davy, and I think Dorothy got
So
sick.
did you all get tied?
We all got tied up.
Oh, my God. Oh.
And that was out of a porch. Now we have the porch on this end. Well, now, back then it was over on the northeast corner of the house.
Where, like, your and Bud's bedroom was? On that side?
No, where their dining room is now.
Oh, this side?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the door stayed the same.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, we had a porch there, and then it was covered. We had a big bench that we sat on, and Easter time, we would go down to our friend down the valley there and get some of his hay. We'd bring it back, and we'd make a nest out there on that bench for our Easter basket.
For the, yeah.
And then, of course, and then in the morning, here we had these colored eggs.
Eggs and things. Oh, that's fabulous.
And we'd look at the cups at breakfast time. Ma, how come the cups are green? How come the red?
Oh, that's funny. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, but just never, let the little ones know that they would be.
I suppose the older kids were helping to color them.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's cute. Oh, jeez. Let's see.
Oh.
Okay, so you made it through the 9th grade.
Made it through the 9th grade.
Got pregnant. Is that by accident?
Well,
If
I think I was free.
I had heard that story,
Yeah.
but I didn't,
Yeah,
Yeah.
because this guy, I did go with him for, I don't know, a couple of weeks or so anyway, and he was a mechanic at the garage next door to us.
So he was a bit older.
Yeah, he was 10 years older.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, we went to the movie, and we came back to his house. It was only next block up, or just across a vacant walk, really, at that time.
Uh-huh.
And so he said, well, let's have a Coke. And I said, okay.
Sure.
Fine.
No big deal.
No big deal.
Yeah.
So we did, and I didn't notice anything. And he said, well, come on, let's lay down for a bit. And I said, oh, I don't really want to. I said, I better go home.
Yeah.
Just for a few minutes. So I said, okay.
He probably had
And
something in that drink.
I don't remember anything until the next morning at 6 o'clock.
He put something in that
He
drink.
put something in it.
Oh.
And the guy who he stayed with was noted for that.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's kind of a giveaway of, well, just lay down
Yeah.
for a minute, because
Yeah.
he knew that
He
you
knew
were going
I was
to...
going to pass out.
Exactly. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so terrible.
Yeah.
Man.
But then I got your mother.
This is true. This is true. So how did
So-
your mom feel about that? Oh my gosh, that had to be like a...
Well, it was quite a blow, and
Yeah.
she took it very well.
Uh-huh.
My dad, he was all kind of uptight, and he thought, well, the guy is going to have want a blood test and all of that. And I said, that's fine. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I knew he was the father.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So, but no, she took care of your mother until she was probably, 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah, she bathed her all the time she was a baby.
Because you were, what, about 16?
I was 16.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. So what happened after that, after she was about 6 months? You were able to take care of her
I was able to
yourself?
take care of her.
Uh-huh.
And I did get $10 a month from the father.
Really?
Yes.
So he didn't dispute it at all. He didn't.
No.
What a jerk.
He was jerk. He did come around after I had gotten. Well, I went to welfare, and they got a hold of the sheriff and put him in jail.
Oh, good.
Overnight.
Okay, this is take two. Tape for the first one kind of stopped and didn't realize that it stopped. Take two of interview with Lydia Goodwater. So, unfortunately, we missed kind of the center part of your life there.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So, and I remember a lot of the conversation, but I want to get it on tape. So, the last part that we had. That came through on the first part of the tape was you were just telling me that young man had been put in jail.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
What was his name? Do you remember his name?
Sure. Lloyd Jensen.
Jensen. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And now, after he got out of jail, you said he
then
did?
He came to the house and he wanted to marry me.
Uh-huh. But...
And I said no, because I had been warned by another lady not to marry because the husband at that time they do bring it up or throw it at you that I married you and that's not my child. And, yeah.
So what happened to Lloyd?
Well, he went on doing his mechanic work like he did, but he met my cousin because he used to play in a band and she played the accordion. So they met that way, and then he married her. And then had 12 kids.
See, that could have been you.
Right.
Thank goodness.
Could have been me.
Yeah. So you and Nan were living in Motley still?
We lived. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So what made you pick up and move to Litchfield?
Litchfield? My older sister lived in Litchfield. And this lady that lived upstairs, it was an apartment building, and lived upstairs. She had just had a baby, and she was not doing well herself, so she needed a lot of rest, so I called or wrote and asked if I could come down there and stay with her, and then I'd go upstairs and help that lady. So that's how your mom and I got to Litchfield.
Okay, so you stayed with Sophie during
I stayed with Sophie.
And and I don't think this part got on the first tape. How did you come up with Mom's name?
That was my sister. My sister named her.
That's great. I think
Yeah.
that's great. Yeah. Okay, so, and you also had a job there in Litchfield.
Mm-hmm. And then after the lady got well enough so that she could take care of herself and her baby, well, then I went over to the produce and started working there. And that's where I met Vernon.
Mm-hmm.
And,
what did you do? What was the company name?
It was Litchfield Produce.
Oh, that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Litchfield Produce Company.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what did you do there?
I did, I pin feathered chickens. They were all picked, but we had to do the pin feathers out of them.
Oh, the little ones.
Yeah, the little ones. And then from there I went over
and tie their heads.
Yeah, wrapped heads. And then I did break eggs, and that was during the war. We'd have to separate the yolk from the white sometimes because the white went to ice cream companies.
Oh, really?
And the yolk went someplace else or to them, but they needed them separated. But if they were just broken and put in it was a 5-gallon can, and those were sent to the army, but they were frozen and dried, so when the army guys got them, they were powdered eggs.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So you had to manually crack the eggs?
We had to manually crack the egg.
Wow.
Yeah. They had a little, like a little tray, but it had a knife on the top, so you just
Oh, quick, easy
Yeah.
like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And what did Vernon do there?
He was making boxes or crates, almost like that, because it was a nailer that he would put the wood in, put this one in, and pound or step on something, and it would come down and nail it. So, yeah. So we got, well, and then he only lived 2 houses from Sophia, so walking to work or whatever, I don't really remember how we got. But, yeah, we talked while we were at work, so, yeah, we got going together.
Mm-hmm. And how long did you go together before you got married?
I think it was 6 months. And then got married in July.
Okay.
July 10th.
July 10th, what year?
44.
44. Oh, and I think I forgot to ask you, what date was Mom born?
That was November 6th, and that was 1942.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
And did you get married in the church?
Yes, we got married in the Catholic Church. I changed. Well, I really didn't belong to a church per se, but so I took the Catholic instructions and yeah, joined the Catholic Church. So.
And where did you live after you got married?
We lived in Litchfield, over on the southeast side. Well, first 2 years we lived with his mom and his sister. But then after we bought a house from a man that lived in Manana. And it was just the frame. Everything on the outside was done, but there was no insulation, no sheetrock or anything like that. So we had it moved to Motley. We had bought a lot, and my father and one of my brothers came and put up the block walls for the basement and had the floor poured for concrete. And
you bought the house in Minnesota? Or, I mean, in Litchfield?
In Manana.
Oh, in Manana.
In Manana, and they moved it to Litchfield.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
and then
we moved there, and Vernon and I think his brother Leo helped us put in the insulation, and I don't remember who put the electricity in there, but so we finished it ourselves and got all it done.
That's neat.
Yeah.
How many brothers and sisters did Vernon have?
He had 1 brother and 2 sisters.
And the
That
sisters?
was Leo and Celia and Lucia.
Okay. And the sisters were twins?
The sisters were twins.
That's interesting. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
How did you get along with his parents, having to live there for 2 years with? That had to be hard.
It was just his mother and his sister.
His sister.
Did fine. Really, we did fine. We'd kind of the sister would kind of make food for her and her mother, and then I'd have to make food for Vernon and Dan and myself.
Okay.
So, but no, it worked out. Holidays we'd do it together, make turkey or whatever. So, no, it worked out pretty good.
How big was the house that you guys stayed in?
That was a 2-bedroom, big living room, and that Shorty used to sleep in the living room all the time.
Shorty.
Celia.
Celia. Okay, see, I know her as Shorty.
Yeah.
I didn't know Celia.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Cecilia.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And but it had a nice, kind of a long dining room and a bath, which you had to pour the water down the stool because somehow or another they weren't supposed to be hooked up to the sewer, I guess. I don't know how or why that was. That's the way we did it.
Oh.
And in the kitchen. Had a basement, but we never went down there. Had a big room that was where they had put in the coal when they had a furnace down there.
Oh, yeah. That's neat.
So, yeah.
That would heat the whole house.
That would heat the whole house.
Yeah. Neat.
So
what year did you and Vernon move into your house then?
Well, we stayed there 2 years, so it would
Okay.
be, 44 or 46, about 46, 70.
Okay. And you
Moved
and
in our
Vernon
house.
were married how long?
We were married for 16 years.
16 years, yeah. How come you never had other children?
I
With
don't
him?
know. I don't know.
Huh.
So we did, for a while, use preventative.
Uh-huh.
But then,
Okay.
in my own mind, I think when your mom was delivered, that doctor might have tied my tubes or whatever, because I've never had kids. I've never been pregnant since.
That's interesting. Huh. Makes
So
you
that's
wonder.
the only thing I can think of.
Makes you wonder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you have cesarean then, or was it
No.
natural?
Oh.
Natural birth. Okay.
Yeah, natural birth. Yeah.
So she grew up kind of a spoiled only child.
But I don't know if she was spoiled because I think I was a little strict with her.
Were you?
Tried to be.
Oh.
But yeah. So
Okay.
what's next?
What did you and Vernon do for fun when you weren't working or watching your child?
Yeah. His cousin, the Vogelpool, we would, and his wife, we'd go up to Eden Valley and to a beer joint and have a few drinks there and just sit around and visit with the people, I guess. Otherwise, he did roller skate. So I did roller skate. We did roller skate together, and then we went to movies. So that's about all.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So then you got divorced when
Yeah.
Nan was 18?
Yeah, right after your mom got married,
Uh-huh.
and then that's when I left home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kind of a mutual, just it's time.
No, he didn't know I was going to leave.
Oh.
No.
Sometimes you gotta do
Yeah.
what's right for you.
Yeah.
Do what's
Yeah.
best.
Right.
So where did you go?
I went down to the Minneapolis and stayed with my younger sister, Dorothy. She had 5 kids. She didn't drive. Her husband was a over-the-road trucker. So, I helped her. We drove, wherever she had to go.
She needed help.
She needed help, yeah.
Oh.
So,
did you have a job while you were there?
I started work. I applied for a job at Sears, and I think 6 months, and then I went to work for Sears.
Mm-hmm.
And I stayed with Dorothy for a year, and then I got my own apartment after that.
Very nice.
Yeah. But I still was working at Sears. I worked there for 4 years.
Wow. Now, what different jobs did you do at Sears?
It was mostly, I did write up orders for different divisions of the Sears. Mostly it was this one lady. She was in charge of Max Factor products, and then the bras.
Cosmetics.
Cosmetics, and then the bras.
Okay. So she would make the sales, and you had.
She was the salesperson. Okay. Mm-hmm.
And you had to write the orders.
I had to write the orders up for them, and then the other head gal, then she would go through the book and write up the orders for them and send them off wherever. So.
Get tired of that job, or?
No, I just couldn't keep up with the salespeople, and so.
Well, something about a new machine. You said something about a new.
Yeah. Well, is that Comptrometer?
Comptrometer.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And it was like at that time it was the adding machine, but you could always multiply your whole order and all that.
Did it have buttons on it or something, or?
Oh yeah,
like
punch keys, and then you bring the handle down.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
I'll have to look it up on the internet and see what it looked like.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So then they put me into marking up the merchandise that came in. We'd have to count each box to be sure that there were a dozen in there. And then we would take them out, and then we'd put our tags on them, and then put them back in the box and shut the cover. And
I don't suppose you had the easy things like they have nowadays, the little guns where you just tag.
Oh no.
How did you?
No, we punched it had those 2 knives, or it was like a staple. You push that through, and then you bent them over.
Oh, okay, like a actual tag hanging off there.
Yeah,
okay.
That's all we did.
Yeah. So take them out, tag them,
right,
put them back in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then from there I went up to shipping well, not really shipping. It was what they called a customer dock, and the people would come to our section counter, and they had called in orders, and then we would go in our back, and the order should be all there. So we would bring them out to the counter and ring them up, or see that everything was there, and give it to the customers.
So they paid right there to you, or called in the order?
They called in the order previously.
On their account or something?
Yeah.
Oh. And how long did you do that?
That was probably a year and a half. About a year and a half.
Did business start slowing down?
Yeah, during the slow season, January and February, it was slow, so we were supposed to dust everything, so we got that done, and I couldn't stand around. So when the boss came around, I asked him if there was something I could do. I said, we're caught up with everything, and he said, you're the first person that ever asked for something to do.
That's fantastic, yeah.
So then he put me over on the warehouse on Longfellow in Minneapolis, and I worked there for the rest of the time.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was fun, because you meet all the truckers coming in, and the customers were coming in, and they would buy the bigger items out there. So.
Like your sofas and things, or bigger?
Yeah. Well, not really the sofas. That was more or less in the big store. This was kind of like the hardware. Well pipe, gas pipe, and your air ducts, or the ductwork and all of that sort of stuff. That was at the warehouse.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So, but that was fun, because you could walk all around the warehouse and see whoever was doing what.
Get lost on the food. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, and then it came time where you had to...
Yeah, I had to quit, because my parents were getting old, and my father had a couple strokes, so and then I had met Bud Clyden, and he said too, every time we would go up north, he could tell that my father was failing, so I quit.
So you were dating Bud at the time you were working at Sears there?
Yeah.
How did you meet him?
At a bowling alley.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, he would come to the bowling alley where I worked, and
so you worked at the bowling alley also?
I worked at the bowling alley. I think that was probably only a year, because it was only $1 an hour. Well, at that time, that was good, pretty good wage. But I worked there for about a year, and then I decided, that's when I decided to go back, come back home.
What did you do at the bowling alley?
Wait on the customers, and they'd have a hamburger or something, or I'd dish out the beer and the pop and whatever they wanted,
What did Sears pay, just out of curiosity?
I think I started out at 65 cents an hour.
Okay. But the bowling alley was paying $1 an hour.
Yeah, well, I worked up to $1 an hour.
Okay. Wow. And so Bud would come in and come to bowl or have a hamburger?
Come bowl. He knew the proprietor, and so he pointed to me from was telling the proprietor. He said, "I'm going to get that girl."
That's funny.
Yeah. So, but that's about then. Then we moved back up home.
So he didn't really have any qualms about leaving the cities and moving to Motley with you?
No, he didn't have. He worked for a sign company, but he figured too it was time to move on. So.
And he had met your parents before, so he didn't have any.
No.
It was okay moving in the house with them.
No, they liked him. Oh, they liked him.
That's good. Yeah. So how long were you living there before they passed away?
Pa died in 1966. Because that was the same time. My older sister Mabel died in January, I think, of '66, and my father in April of 66.
Oh, that had to be hard.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So then, but my mother died 1982.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was still, up and
She-
at 'em when
yeah,
we were young ones,
90.
running amok
She
around there.
Yeah, she was 90 when she died.
Wow. Wow. Okay, so what did you and Bud do in Motley?
Well,
What
we
did you do for work?
painted together houses. He'd do signs, I'd do houses and whatever.
Now, had he done houses before? And
Oh, yes.
Okay, so he
Yeah.
kind of trained you on how
Yeah,
to...
he trained me on that and
Okay.
how to do it. And,
Uh-huh.
yeah,
And did you enjoy that?
it was fun.
You seem to
Yeah.
enjoy it every
Yeah.
time, yeah.
You got outside every day.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was hard work, but it would, especially when you had the house was peeling. Then you had the sand and sand. I think that's how I lost part of my hearing, because of that big sander that I had to use.
They were
It was too-
power sanders?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Not like the scraping,
Yeah.
you can just scrape
Well, we
it.
scraped it, and then we had to sand the edges, so everything was smooth. So, but it was fun, because you went to different house,
And then you had something to be proud of when
Yeah.
the finished product.
Right.
Like, yeah, I think I would have enjoyed that too.
Mhm.
Yeah. So,
Mhm.
what did you and Bud do when you weren't working? And,
When we weren't working,
Uh-huh.
we played golf. He taught me how to play golf,
Uh-huh.
so we did a lot of that.
did he play
together.
golf before you had met him?
He had.
Okay.
He had,
Okay.
yeah. And in the wintertime, then we belonged to bowling leagues. So we played golf in the summer and bowled in the winter.
And I think he was the one that taught Dad to play golf, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Because I remember him
Yeah.
and Dad out in the backyard at the
Mhm.
greenhouse
Mm-hmm.
hitting balls
Yes.
into the...
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, he
Wow.
did.
Okay. So you would go around to other courses. Did Motley have a course?
No, it was Staples.
Mhm.
That was the closest. And then, but tournaments, or tournaments. It would be Long Prairie, or Brainerd, or he'd go up to Bemidji, and some of the other places, which the ladies didn't go that far. But it was fun.
That'd work out pretty good because you could kind of
Mhm.
adjust your work and
Right.
your play schedule together.
right.
Yeah. Did you have a hard time finding work? Houses to
No.
paint and
No.
signs to do.
It seemed like once we were if we were done with one job and we didn't have anything lined up, and then just next day, then somebody'd call and, yeah, we need our house painted, or can you paint this room for us, or something like that.
Kind of a word of mouth thing. Did
Word
you
of mouth.
advertise?
It was word of mouth.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All in Motley or?
No,
also?
Staples area mostly,
Oh.
country, out in the country, but mostly Staples.
Hmm.
And because we didn't go into Brainerd or anything like that.
Mhm.
But yeah, mostly just Motley and Staples.
Okay.
So,
And how come you and Bud didn't have any more children? Other than you think the
well,
tubes died.
I think
remember
he
a
couldn't-
story.
Yeah, he kept saying that he couldn't have children too. So I don't know.
Because he was a professional.
He went. He was a professional ball player in the minor league.
Which team?
I don't know.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know. I've got pictures and writings of his though in the St. Cloud paper, because he played for the Rocks out of St. Cloud too, and so they had put up in their sports section of the paper, they had write up all of these things, and he was one of them.
His name would be in
Oh,
there.
yeah.
And,
Yeah.
that's neat.
So, but yeah, I think, well, he said that he caught a grounder, was about to catch a grounder, and it hit him in the crotch. And I think that's what happened, yeah.
Very likely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember many a night him listening to the ball games on the radio.
Oh,
yeah.
all the time.
Yeah, all the time.
Anything in sports.
Mm-hmm. And then you were saying something about the you were making decent money with the painting and things, but I remember a lot of goulash meals.
Yeah, yeah. It'd be fast and famine.
Yeah.
Or feast and famine.
Because you'd only get paid.
Right, after we were done with the job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it could be several weeks.
Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we'd get Kentucky Fried Chicken. Woohoo!
Yeah. Usually only maybe 2 weeks at the most. But yeah, it would get to the.
Now, how much would they pay you for like painting one house?
We would get maybe $300 to $400. Yeah.
That's not bad at all.
No.
But you had to buy the paint. And
We did not.
oh,
We had the people buy the paint. This way we didn't have anything out of our pocket.
Smart.
In case they didn't pay or...
Then you'd be stuck with 10 gallons of...
We'd be stuck with it. Mm-hmm.
Plus then they had the color.
That's
they
right.
couldn't come back on you saying that's
right.
not the color I wanted.
Right.
Ah, smart.
Yes.
Smart.
Yeah. To begin with, we did buy the paint. But then it just got to be too much, and we figured this, if we had them buy the paint, they would have the bill instead of us.
Yeah. Yeah. You just brushes and rollers.
Right.
Yep. Your own equipment.
Right.
Very good.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, how long did you do that? I know Bud got some health issues.
Oh, gosh. Well, at least 20 years. Good 20 years.
Uh-huh.
And then his heart started going bad.
Now, did he have cancer?
Yes.
I thought so.
Cancer of the nose. And
Yeah.
they took a big chunk out of the part by his eye and all that.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Was it skin, like melanoma?
It was a skin cancer. Mm-hmm.
Probably from out there in the sun. And
It probably was.
Yeah.
It probably was. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you couldn't paint houses anymore, so you
No,
had to go...
and he couldn't do the lettering, sign lettering, and it was just too much. So he got a hold of a good friend of his that played golf with him all the time, and he got him to have a disability through the VA. And then I went to work at the plant, CFS plant, south of town.
So he got some money from the VA also,
He got
and
a
then
little pension from the VA.
And then your paycheck was
So
enough to...
It helped.
Yeah. And what did you do at the fish?
I weighed up fish and they made packages, and then we'd have to go on a conveyor sometimes and straighten out the packages because it would go into this big freezer. It was a sharp freezer, what they call it, and it was just, it would start out at the bottom and it would go up. By the time it hit the top, it was frozen solid.
Wow. And that was the imitation crab?
That was the imitation crab.
That they made it from the fish, and they colored
fish
it.
and cornstarch. There was flour in it, and all these things, sugar, not Certo, but a syrup anyway. It was a sugar syrup.
And you'd have to measure out a bunch of this stuff. And,
yeah,
and
about a pound well, no, it wasn't. It was ounces at a time that we would have to weigh it out and put it into a little indentation on this machine, and then be sure that it was clean around there. Otherwise, you'd have leakers.
It wouldn't seal.
Yep.
Yeah.
It wouldn't seal.
Was it on a big conveyor belt, and you had to do it
was
like real fast?
Oh yes.
Like you see in
that was
Really?
You had to be fast.
Huh.
You had to be fast. Yeah.
And
So.
you did that for how long?
I did that, I think, maybe a year and a half, and then I went into the custodial part of it.
And tell me how you got into that custodial part of it. That's a good story.
Yeah. The two lead person, the one lady that was doing the custodial work, she ended up having pneumonia, so she was in the hospital. Well, they needed somebody to replace her. They went through the files of the people that were working, and they couldn't find anybody. So then they came through the plant itself, and I was standing there weighing up this stuff, and the guy, the man part, he said, "That's her."
So they knew who they were looking for on the roster.
They were looking for,
but why couldn't they find you on the roster?
Well, I went by my nickname, Sis. When they were looking through the files, all they saw was Lydia. They did not put the two together.
That's good.
Yeah.
So was that then a kind of a promotion? Were you working nights when you did the
I was working
fish
nights.
measuring?
I worked nights all the time.
Was it? Okay.
I worked nights all the time.
So they moved you to the custodial department. Did they give you more money?
No.
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 Oh.
Everybody more or less made the same.
Oh.
The only ones that were making more money were the mixers, the guys that mixed all this stuff in great big vats. and they got paid more.
Oh.
And then I think the guys in the shipping, they got more. What the secretaries and all of those people got, I don't know. But throughout the plant part, I think we were most paid pretty much the same.
You'd have a lot more leeway being the janitorial staff, and not so much, probably
Right.
not so much
I didn't
pressure.
Really, I didn't have somebody standing over me, and but I got everything done. Yeah. They did hire a man to do the heavy lunchroom floor tile. You know, that had to be scrubbed, and he had been a janitor at the school, so he could do the janitorial work on the scrubbing the floors and waxing them.
Oh, that's good then, because they got big machines for that.
It was a big machine.
Yeah. Okay. And how long did you work for them?
Let's see here. I worked totally. It was 6 years, so I suppose about 4.5 years.
Yeah. And you were saying something about after 6 years, you could do retirement.
I was able to retire because I was over 60. I think I was 63 or 64 at the time I retired, and because I was in the 60s and I had the 6 years in, then I was able to retire.
I'm going to go ahead and flip this tape over. It looks like it's going there. So, did they give you full benefits when you retired?
No benefits, just a retirement check. The benefits I had to pick up on my own, hospitalization and that.
So do you get a monthly check? I mean, retirement check from them?
I still do.
That's great.
A whole $87.
Hey, every $87 helps, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
But, no, I put that away in an account, so when I die, at least when your mom has to come, there'll be a little cash money, because her name is on that too. So if she needs money for some incidental, it's there.
Ah, that's good.
Yeah.
Good thinking.
But both Cliff and I have set up our funeral arrangements. Everything is paid for.
That is so smart. People that think, I'm not going to do that because, nobody gets out of life alive here.
No. No.
Yeah, that's very smart.
Yeah. So she really doesn't have to worry about anything.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's all paid for.
So you knew Bud was kind of going downhill. Is that one of the reasons also you retired?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I retired in July, and he died in October. So we came out here in August, and he was really having trouble.
I remember
breathing.
that, yeah. Couldn't sleep, couldn't breathe.
Couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
Air was lighter. That was even worse.
Oh.
So.
Wow, that's terrible.
So. Yeah, I'm sure he suffered. He never complained. Never complained.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I was a widow for 10 years. And then...
was it that long ago that he passed away?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
It was 94.
Wow. Doesn't seem that long.
Yeah. So then when I met Cliff, so it was 10 years.
Huh.
Yeah.
And were you okay, when he passed away? Because you kind of knew it was going to happen.
I knew it was happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was fine. I didn't, some people, I don't know if maybe I didn't know how to grieve. But sure, I missed him. But I didn't go overboard. If I felt lonely or anything, I'd go visit with one of my neighbors or my sister or whatever. I could go and do things.
Yeah.
I didn't stay home.
Yeah, because you're like me. You're a goer and a doer.
I'm a goer and a doer.
So what is this with you and the mayor? And you were very close friends with the mayor, and so you'd go on trips together or drive them or something?
With
is that
her.
Oh.
Yeah, I'd help her drive to Iowa, in fact, because that was a 7-hour drive, and she was just a little bit of a thing. But And then towards last, when she wanted to go, then I did most of the driving entirely because it just tired her out. So.
So the 10 years that you were by yourself, you weren't really by yourself because
I always had somebody to do with or go with.
And it seems like you went a lot of places. You went, back east. Yeah. Did you go to Florida?
No, but it was North Carolina, Mississippi, and to visit with brothers. And I'd usually take Sarah, my friend. Otherwise, I didn't go that far by myself. I usually, I had a friend I could take with. And when we came out here,
were you fixing up the house or anything at that time?
It was pretty much done.
Was it?
Pretty much done. Because when Bud was able to do work, that's when we put on that addition. And he and I finished and did it all ourselves. Made the rafters and everything.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
And you tore down the playhouses.
We tore down the playhouses, and we tore down the shop, and so got a nice car and a half garage.
I was going to say, you probably got a nice carport there now, don't you?
Yeah, we got a nice garage now, so.
Okay. But, all right.
So what else?
That's about it. That's
Okay.
where it. Yeah, and the next one is right where I said, well, how did you meet Cliff? How did you run into Cliff again? So
okay.
there we go. So how did you run into Cliff then again?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Cliff, throughout the years, he kept in touch with my youngest brother there in North Carolina. And Cliff would always, his wife was sick, had been sick for 4 or 5 years, and she had cancer, very bad. So when he'd talk to Davy, Davy would say, well, come on out. And of course, he'd say, my wife, she's not able to travel anymore. So, and it just kind of went on. And so when she did die, and he and Davy called, or somebody called, and Davy said, well, now you can come out. And of course, Cliff said, well, yeah, but I don't want to drive all that way by myself. Well, call Sis. She'll go with you. So that's, and we reminisced all the way out and all the way back. And,
how fabulous. Yeah.
So that's how we got back together.
That's great.
Played together when we were young kids. And all through those years. And to get reacquainted, really. I had not seen him since he left and I left town. So it was really getting reacquainted. So
that's great.
And it worked out.
So when you got back to town after you guys took your little road trip, you kept dating or just
we'd call each other. And, he'd say he missed me and said it was nice, being with you. And then when we were going out to Jason's graduation, I was supposed to have this neighbor lady come out with me. Well, she had been in an accident and she didn't dare leave. So she said, why don't you call that guy you went to Davies with? So I called him up and he said, sure, I'll go with you. Because he didn't have anything to do. And so that's when we first came out on the trip. And the next year, when Shane got graduated, then we came out again.
So how did he ask you to marry him?
Well,
how'd that come
about? That was just kind of a mutual thing.
Yeah?
He said, do you want to get married? He said, I do not believe in serious. He said, I do not believe in living together.
Really?
He said, if you feel strong enough for this lady that you can be with her, have sex with her, the least you can do is marry her.
How old-fashioned.
Yeah, very
Aw,
old-fashioned.
That's
But no,
nice.
he said he would not live with a woman and marry her.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Very nice.
and we got along fine.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Uh-huh.
it isn't this mushy stuff, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, we like to be together,
Uh-huh.
close.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So when did you get married then?
We got married September 8th of '03.
Ah, okay. That's right. I said
It's
02.
It's going to be 5
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
It'll be 5 years.
No
this
way. That,
Yeah.
really?
I know.
Dang, it doesn't. Oh.
Well, yeah, it's how
like-
old are, how many years since the kids got?
Well, Jason will be 22. Jason turned 22. So yeah, yeah. Crazy. Wow. Well, that's good. That's good. And you guys still live in the little house? But he
We
has
still-
another house in the
He
city
has
or
another
something.
house in Minneapolis.
Okay.
And he didn't know if he would like to live in Motley, small town, didn't really know anybody.
Yeah.
That's what he thought.
Uh-huh.
But he said he'd try it for a year, and, well, some of our old schoolmates were coming back to town and living in town, so we just got together with everybody else, and, oh yeah, he likes it up there.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That's
He
good.
thinks it's terrible that we have to drive 20 miles to Brainerd to get groceries,
Well,
to save money. The little town, or the little store in town, they do the best they can. They're individual. They've got no competition, so they can, being they are small, they have to charge a little bit more
they do. Yeah.
to survive.
Uh-huh.
So, but when we need a lot of groceries, so then we go over to Brainerd and shop there. So he thinks that's terrible.
20
He's got it 20 miles.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. 20
Here's
miles.
Nan and Keith. Their closest town is 50 miles.
Yeah. Yeah. It could be so much worse.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So, but no, his daughter lives in his house in Minneapolis, and he has more or less. Well, he's got 2 remaining children. His one daughter died of brain aneurysm.
Oh. Okay.
So, and so it's the 2 that are left. The boy has his own house, so why would he want Cliff's house?
Yeah.
So it was just more or less understood, that she would come and live there. And she was she was renting and her lease was up. And when she was going to re-up her lease, they were going to make it $10 more than what she was paying, and she was already paying $900. Yeah. So he said, why don't you rent from me and be in the house? So she's been there ever since.
Oh, that worked out
Yeah.
good then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it worked out.
Yeah.
Worked out.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. How have you seen Motley change since?
Well, like I said, all the condos, and there must be 10 units, I think, 10 or 12 units. And we have a clinic, health clinic. We have 2 banks. There's still the 3 restaurants, and it's grown. We have sewer and water, running water. Let's see what else.
Paved streets.
Paved streets. Yes, even in front of the house, and that's only been 2 years since we've had that
Wow.
one. Yes. So we're lucky that we got that. But it has grown. We have the big Maury's Fish Company, and in that Cephas, it's a warehouse or a production type thing. So we do have those. Also now, there is a business, I don't remember the name, it's kind of a funny name, but he works with marble. He makes, or is it, what's another name?
Travertine?
Oh.
Travertine?
They have these big rocks in St. Cloud.
Huh. I don't know.
Anyway, he makes countertops. And he's really
Like
got
the granite ones, maybe? They're, beautiful.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's a new business that's in town.
Mm-hmm.
We have a couple flea market things, and let's see what else we got. A new school.
Yeah, if I remember right, the school would be just, we would take
Up
off
the
down
street.
this way. Yeah, up the
Mhm.
street. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
And it was a 2-story then.
Yeah.
But now this is all ground floor, and it's a middle school. It's a middle school now. And the Methodist Church just built a great big brand new church down there by the condos.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh.
And let's see, the Catholic Church, of course, theirs was a new church quite a while ago. Our little Lutheran church is still a little Lutheran church.
Is it? It's still right there.
Yeah. And that's a block from the house.
Yeah, I remember that little
Yeah.
church.
Mhm.
And
And people have, we've grown for over 500 people now.
wow.
So we got new houses, and well, we've got an apartment building, 2 apartment buildings just down the street from me.
Jeez, I never would have guessed.
And then there's a gas station to their south, and that too, behind it is another apartment building. So we got 3 apartment buildings. Plus there is what they call Sunny Pines, and it's for the older people.
Okay.
And it's not, for handicap or Alzheimer's or anything like that. They're just for older people that don't want to live by themselves in a house. And they have their meals there if they want to.
Gotcha.
And but we do have 2 Harmony House in there for the Alzheimer's people.
Oh.
So we've got it's grown.
It's grown quite a bit.
It's grown.
Yeah.
We have a big new motel.
A motel?
A big motel.
Okay, where would people come and going to stay at the motel in Motley?
Fishing,
Oh, okay.
hunting.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now when there's workers that are working on the road someplace, say they're maybe 5 miles or 10 miles up 64 or something like that, they stay in the motel.
Ah, okay. I see. So
yeah,
that's beneficial then.
it's
Okay.
beneficial.
Got it.
You bet.
What big changes or events have you seen around the world? What obviously World War II.
Yeah. It seems like, well, with World War II, all the soldiers were gone, the women had to work. So when they came back, then it was, do I have a job or can I get a job? Because the women are doing what I used to do. So, yeah,
So
I think it was kind of a hardship, I would say, on the guys to get their jobs back. Some of them did give it back.
Because the women wanted to stay
They wanted to stay.
in the workforce.
Yeah. Right. And that would be one of the things, that there's more women out there working now than what there used to be. And I think a lot of it have started. They had to at the World War II because the men were gone.
Yeah.
Other than that, all the TVs and all that sort of
I guess
electronics.
TV. Yeah, electronics.
Electronic stuff.
Yeah. Okay. That's true. Never thought about the TVs.
Yeah.
How about how has the world that you can kind of remember? How has that changed? Is any
The world itself.
probably growing up in Motley, you may not have had a lot of.
Yeah. Well, that's what I keep telling Cliff. I said, we don't know what goes on out there. You might hear some of these drug busts and stuff like this, but that's a different world. We aren't even in that stuff. So,
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff, and some of those things that you see on TV, that these people are doing. We would never think of doing anything like that.
Yeah, so that kind of leads to my next point. How have people changed?
Yeah,
Since
a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. They're more permissive with everything than what we did. It seems like, right now, it seems like the women especially, they're flaunting themselves, their bodies, these
Little boobs.
But, even, so much on TV now, you're showing their breasts. Before, we never did that. They never did that. So, I think the world is getting more permissive, and it's not good. It's not good. Because I think it's going to go downhill before it's going to turn around and go back.
Yeah, I don't know if it will turn around. I don't know.
Our morals. We have to have stronger morals.
Yeah, and that might lead back to the whole, now that women are out in the workforce, they don't have time the children are running amok.
A lot.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add?
I don't. It's fun. It was fun having you guys.
It was great. I'm glad we could make it.
Every summer,
Yeah.
And you didn't want to stay. You didn't want to stay.
I remember we'd cry, no, I don't want to go to Grandma's.
Yeah.
And then when we'd get there, it'd be great
Then you
fun.
didn't want to go home.
Yeah. We'd play in the playhouse all day.
Play in the playhouse.
Make pies out front.
Yeah. Tried to have, snacks or whatever for you guys and suppers and so.
Goulash. I remember a lot of goulash.
Yeah. Well, we never get paid until we were done with the job. So by the time, we had to have goulash a lot.
Yeah. I remember Kentucky Fried Chicken fairly often. So that must have been payday.
It must have been payday. But it's been nice. I think even though we had a hard life coming up, and painting was not all that easy, still I think we had a good time.
Did good for yourself.
Yeah.
That hard starting up there. Yeah, young child.
Yeah.
With a child.
Yeah. And the hardest part was when my sister Mabel died, my sister Dorothy died, my brother Johnny died. He was my closest brother, I brought him out here and we went to California and stayed with Mrs. Tesh for a week, and then after Johnny died, then I was taking my brother Art to the VA hospital and back. That was the hardest. part.
That span a couple years?
It's, throughout the years. Mabel's been dead. About 30 years.
Wow.
And that's another thing. And I'm surprised, in a way I'm surprised that Marilyn came up with breast cancer, because we don't have breast cancer on our side.
Very surprising, yeah.
But out of the 9 kids, there's only one that has not had cancer.
Really? Out of the 9?
At some sort or another.
Whether it be lung or breast or uterine or something,
Uterine was fine. Johnny's was pancreas. Yeah. And Art had something in his back. And I think that was probably pancreas too, isn't it?
I think it is, the lower. Yeah.
And my brother William, Bill, prostate. And Dorothy had lymphoma. anything else with that. That's what she had. Florence has a skin cancer, the youngest girl, and every month, every Friday? Every other Friday she goes to Brainerd and has a treatment, and it's like light bulbs, and she stands in this little place and has treatment.
Gets the treatments for the skin. Oh, okay. Wow.
So
who has it? Who's the one that has it?
Sophie,
Sophie.
the oldest one, the oldest girl.
Huh.
Davy, the one out there in North Carolina, he has, it's something with the brain. But with him also, he was sick for a while, and he was going to have some seizures. Well, nobody in our family had seizures, but when he was sick, they gave him a shot of something. He lost his hair, and it seemed like after that is when he started going downhill.
Huh.
So now he has, he'll have these seizures yet, and he'll just go rigid. And she'll have to, she pats him on the face, come on Dave, and she'll bring him out of it.
Wow. Huh.
Willis has had prostate cancer, but he's fine. Weighs 136 pounds,
Wow.
and he's 6 foot.
He's a stick.
He is a stick. But he seems to be doing fine.
Huh. Well, that's good.
His wife is just turned 90.
Holy moly.
Yeah, so she's, well, he's 83, so she's that many years older than he is, 6 years, 7 years. But she's fine.
Good.
Yeah, she had her little aches and pains and that, but she's doing good.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Huh.
So otherwise,
Well, you kids have all kind of spread out, haven't you?
Yeah.
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 California, North Carolina.
Yeah. Yeah, that's Cliff's brother that's in California.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, mine is in Mississippi and North Carolina.
Okay.
And Florence is in town, Sophie's in Little Falls, so we're pretty close that way. And then, of course, William died, and he was, but now his wife lives there at Watkins.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's close then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So otherwise, that's about all.
Well, sums it up. Well, good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm afraid that I might have missed something. I don't know when that stupid tape came off.
Oh, yeah.
So it clicked off. I thought it would actually click something,
Yeah,
so I'll
so
have
you
to
would
turn
hear
it
it.
around and listen.